Hey folks, this is Rhykker with the Diablo 3 Season 28 Speed Leveling Guide. In this video, we'll cover the fastest way to go from level 1 to 70 in Season 28, without getting power leveled by someone else. Season 28 begins on February 24th. Now, I've been making speed leveling videos for years in D3, maybe not as frequently in the last few years, as there haven't been substantial changes to the strategies. But with Season 28 introducing the Altar of Rites, I knew it was time for an updated video because the altar provides some absolutely massive buffs to early leveling. Using the altar, you'll have the fastest journey to level 70 than ever before. If you're wondering what the Altar of Rites is, we cover its introduction in this video here, and we'll have another upcoming video fully dissecting it and the strategies around it. But in short, it's a new progression tree that you'll complete throughout the season by farming specific requirements and gaining specific buffs in return. The first two seals you'll want to unlock on the tree are game-changing for speed leveling. The first seal, Gateway, can be unlocked at level 1. We'll explain how later. And what this seal does is it doubles the duration of your kill streak timer, allowing you to keep up your massacre bonuses for longer, and it also doubles the XP rewards for massacre bonuses. Now, in my past speed leveling videos, we've spoken about how massacre bonus leveling is technically the fastest way to level from 1 to 70. However, if you have not practiced this method, or if you're just not a really strong and coordinated player, then this method can end up being less efficient than just running rifts. However, this season, I am recommending massacre bonus leveling to everyone. With the timer duration doubled, it's so much easier to keep up your massacre bonus, making this method more accessible to everyone. And the double XP reward is just icing on top, cementing this as the most effective thing to do. This is the best leveling method for this season. What does massacre bonus leveling entail? Well, you go to a zone with high monster density, you start killing monsters, and after killing about 15 in rapid enough succession, your kill streak begins. You'll see a little rope burning down on screen, and you'll want to keep refreshing that rope by hitting monsters. Note that you only need to hit a monster to refresh the rope once it's going, so sometimes you may even want to keep an enemy alive to be able to toss a weak ranged attack against them as you're moving through an empty area. The best place to level up using this method is the Temple of the Firstborn in Act 2. There's so many little beetles that are going to show up in these tight corridors. You can rack up the kill count really high, really fast. So, you just run this zone, leave the game, remake it, run the zone again. Very straightforward. Now, this is if you're playing solo. If you're in a group, it's going to be tough to maintain your massacre bonuses without a super well-coordinated group. Because if an enemy dies before you hit it, it won't count towards your kill streak. So you need to ensure everyone in your group is tagging all the enemies. So if you are not capable of that level of coordination, I recommend going with Cursed Chest leveling. Still very strong, very fast, and you're going to do this via Cursed Chest Bounties. You see, Cursed Chest Bounties, and not Cursed Shrines, chests specifically, will spawn potentially hundreds of enemies at a pace that lets you maintain a nice kill streak, all while you sit in one place or move around a small area. This makes it very easy for your full group to tag most of the enemies and maintain their kill streaks. What you'll want to do is have everyone in your party split up and make their own game. When you each load in game, you bring up the map and you're looking for a Cursed Chest Bounty. See if that spawned. If none spawned, leave game, try again. The first person to find a Cursed Chest Bounty then invites everyone to their game. You guys go, you run the Cursed Chest together, and repeat. Be careful though. Both Cursed Chests and Cursed Shrines show up with similar names, and Cursed Shrine Bounties are not worth doing. Also, some Cursed Chests are more difficult to get to than others, so here's a specific list of bounties that you're looking for. In Act 1, you're looking for the Cursed Court, the Cursed Cellar, and the Cursed Bellows. Bellows is my personal favorite. In Act 2, you're looking for the Cursed Pit, the Cursed Spire, the Cursed Moors, and the Cursed Temple. And in Act 3, you're looking for the Cursed Garrison and the Cursed Bailey. Don't bother with Act 4, and for Act 5, you're looking for the Cursed Peat. Now, regardless of your method, what difficulty do you run on? Well, the highest you can handle without struggling. If you're dying or losing your massacre bonus, drop the difficulty. This does mean you'll likely change difficulty throughout your 1 to 70 journey depending on when you get good items or as your items become obsolete. In general, as you're nearing 70, you're going to be dropping down that difficulty. Now, we spoke about what you're going to be doing big picture, but what will your build look like while leveling? What skill are you going to use? Because not all skills are created equal, and even fewer are created equal for massacre bonus leveling. First off, if you get any items that give big damage multipliers to a skill, you definitely want to work that skill into your build and ideally build around it. Otherwise, if you're unlucky and don't have damage boosting legendaries, then here are the skills you'll want to use for damage. For Barbarian, Rend unlocks at level 5, and it does big damage to enemies around you, hitting a lot of enemies and putting a bleed on them. This is going to be helpful for keeping up our massacre bonus. For the Crusader, you'll start with Sweep Attack, dealing some damage in a nice little area in front of you. That unlocks at level 5. Then you're going to move into Fist of the Heavens at level 26, which is a nice ranged area of effect attack. For Demon Hunter, you'll use Chakram starting at level 12. These razor discs swoop around big swaths of the screen, hitting lots of enemies over a decently long period of time. Again, helping hit a lot of enemies and over a long enough period to be helping maintain your massacre. For the Monk, Exploding Palm unlocks at level 13 and applies a nice bleed to enemies that ends in an explosion if that enemy dies. So we're combining area damage with a ticking time bomb that helps us maintain our massacre bonus. For the Necromancer, Corpse Explosion obliterates everything. And you can use Skeletal Mage to spawn the first corpses that you'll need to trigger your Corpse Explosion. For the Witch Doctor, Haunt at level 12 combined with Locust Swarm at level 21. These combine to spread big damage over time effects to enemies. For the Wizard, at level 21 you unlock Hydra and Disintegrate. You take both, you're going to zap enemies with your Disintegrate while your Hydra peppers them. Again though, adjust your strategy based on what items you find. So that covers the big picture strategy of where you're going, what you're doing, what skills, but let's get into the details here. Every season we've recommended doing the Challenge Rift after the season starts. PSA, do not complete this week's Challenge Rift before the season starts, otherwise you cannot open the reward on a new season character. So wait for season to start, do the Challenge Rift, then you can open that Challenge Rift bag to get a bunch of goodies. Blood shards and crafting materials and gold that you'll use to get yourself some nice gear to speed up your leveling process. Ever since we got Challenge Rift caches, these have been a tremendous boon to the 1 to 70 leveling process. However, this season with the Altar of Rites, in order to unlock your 15th seal on the altar, you need to sacrifice an unopened Challenge Rift cache. So a lot of people have been asking whether they should save their cache this season so that they can instead spend it on the altar to unlock the 15th seal. Now, here's the thing. The season starts on Friday night, and the Challenge Rift resets on Monday afternoon, meaning you're going to get your second Challenge Rift on Monday afternoon. So, unless you're blasting throughout the weekend, unless you're a top 1% player who's trying to top the leaderboards early on in the weekend, you're putting in like 20 hours of serious, efficient gameplay before Monday rolls around. If you're not in that category, you're better off not saving the Challenge Rift cache. Just use it. By opening the cache and using its contents and following this leveling guide, you can hit level 70 in under an hour. If you don't open that cache, it can take you hours to reach 70 if you're not a pro. If you do save the cache, as in you don't open it, and then you don't reach the 15th seal by the time Monday rolls around, and you have access to another challenge cache, then you save that seal for nothing. In fact, not only will you have to have reached the 15th seal, you'll need to have played for many hours after unlocking the 15th seal to really benefit from getting that 15th seal. Again, for those who are blasting throughout the weekend at a high level of play, saving the cache is the right choice. But for the rest of us, use the cache, enjoy the easiest 1 to 70 you've ever had, and even if you do somehow end up getting to the 15th seal before Monday and you can't progress on the altar any further, there's still tons of stuff to do. It's not going to put you too far behind. You're not ruining your season. You can even still farm up the requirements for the remaining seals and then just unlock them on Monday. In theory, it can take some casual players up to 25 hours of play to reach the 15th seal. I've spoken to a lot of people on my streams and my community, got an idea of how fast people play, how long it takes people to do bounties, to do rifts, to get these different requirements. The reality is that people play at widely different speeds. And again, unless you're in that high end of very efficient, many hours, fast-paced play, and also care about being first and best, just open the cache. Now, I will add in one more factor. In theory, if you're playing with a group, you can have one person use their challenge rift cache and carry the rest of the group to level 70 super fast, while the rest save their cache for the altar. That is an option. But we'll keep talking as though you have opened your challenge rift cache. What has it given you? 475 blood shards, over 5 million gold, 35 death's breaths, and some crafting materials. Now, when you gamble blood shards at Kadala on a level 1 character, the pool of possible legendary items you can get is heavily reduced. In fact, there's often only a couple options you can get per item slot. So for each class, this is how you want to gamble your blood shards. If you're a barbarian, gamble for bracers. You're hoping to get the bracers of destruction, which give a huge damage buff to seismic slam, or the bracers of the first men, which give a huge damage buff to hammer of the ancients. These are both skills that'll help us level from 1 to 70 easily. For the crusader, your options aren't nearly as good. Go for bracers to try to get Gabriel's Vambraces, which will buff Blessed Hammer. If you get those, then spend your other blood shards on shields. You may get a Guard of Johanna, which also buffs Blessed Hammer. The Demon Hunter doesn't have any good low-level damage options to gamble for. We'll recommend just going straight for Helms to get a Leoric's Crown, which will up to double the effect of gems that are socketed within it. So, eventually you're going to get a Ruby. Rubies give you more XP. Put that in, and you're going to level faster. If you get your Leorics and still have blood shards, gamble for bracers, try to get Wraps of Clarity. These will double your toughness. For Monk, you got some solid options. I'd start with Boots. You can get the Rivera Dancers, which give a nice damage buff to Lashing Tail Kick, or the Crudest Boots, which give a huge buff to Mystic Ally that will really help carry you. If you get the Crudest Boots, you can then gamble for Bracers, where you can either get the Caesar's Memento, which will buff Tempest Rush if you hit enemies with a hard crowd control. Little tough to work in that synergy. Another bracer you can get is Gundo Gear, which give a nice damage buff to Exploding Palm, or you can even get Pinto's Pride, which gives a nice buff to Wave of Light. Then for Necromancer, you gamble for gloves, period. If you get a legendary, it is guaranteed to be the Grasps of Essence, which give a huge damage buff to Corpse Explosion, a skill that is already ridiculously powerful at low level. For Witch Doctor, you don't have great options. You can gamble for an offhand to get the Gazing Demise, which buffs the damage of Spirit Barrage. And for the Wizard, unfortunately, no great options here. You can gamble for an offhand and get a Winter's Flurry. This will give you a damage buff to Hydra on enemies that are caught in a blizzard. It's an essential item for the Hydra build, which we got a guide for here. It's the Typhon set, it's the starter set for Wizard, but as you're leveling 1 to 70, it's going to be hard to run this synergy. Now, in all cases, regardless of class, you can default to gambling for Helms to get a Leoric's Crown to put a Ruby in it for better XP. You can either go straight for that or with leftover blood shards. Now, with all the materials you got from the Challenge Rift cache, you'll also have enough to use the Kanai's Cube recipe to upgrade a level 70 yellow into a legendary. But you'll only have enough materials for a single one, and you aren't guaranteed to get a good one. So, here is your best bet on what to upgrade for each class. For Barbarian, you're going to craft two-handed mighty weapons and upgrade those. There are 6 possible results, and 4 of them are good. Bastion's Revered, which buffs Frenzy, Blade of the Tribes, which makes Warcry and Threatening Shout cause an avalanche and an earthquake, and it buffs the damage of avalanche and earthquake. The Fury of the Vanished Peak, which buffs Seismic Slam and synergizes well with the Bracers of Destruction that you can gamble. And the Gavel of Judgment, which buffs Hammer of the Ancients and synergizes well with the Bracers of the First Men that you can gamble. For Crusader, we don't have very good odds here. Our best bet is to go for a one-handed flail, of which only 3 out of the 7 options are good. The Dark Light, which buffs Fist of the Heavens, Gerfalcon's Foot, which buffs Blessed Shield, and Johanna's Argument, which buffs Blessed Hammer, and can be combined with Gabriel's Vambraces or the Guard of Johanna for some serious buffs to Blessed Hammer, if you're lucky enough to get all 3. For Demon Hunter, go with a one-handed dagger. There are 2 possibilities, and both are great. Lord Greenstone's Fan gives a huge damage buff to Fan of Knives, and Carle's Point gives a nice damage buff to Impale. For Monk, your odds are 50-50. Go for Debos. 4 out of the 8 possibilities are good. Balance buffs Tempest Rush, and synergizes well with the Caesar's Memento Bracers that you can gamble. The Incense Torch of the Grand Temple gives a huge buff to Wave of Light and combines with the Pinto's Pride Bracers that you can gamble to deliver incredible damage. The Flow of Eternity buffs your 7-sided strike, and the Flying Dragon will sometimes double your attack speed. For Necromancer, you go for 2-handed scythes. There are 4 possibilities, and none of them are bad. They range from great to decent. The Bloodtide Blade gives a huge buff to Death Nova. Ralina's Shadow Hook will give every build a nice damage buff. Maltorius' Petrified Spike gives a huge buff to Bone Spear, but it also increases its essence cost to a point that it's just difficult to sustain. And then Nair's Black Death makes it deal more damage based on how many poison skills you work into your build rotation, which is difficult to manage while leveling. For the Witch Doctor, you'll want to upgrade a Spear. You got a 50-50 chance of getting the Scrimshaw, which gives a great buff to Zombie Charger. And for Wizards, you're not in a great place. Go for wands, 4 out of the 10 of them are good. The Unstable Scepter gives a nice damage buff to Arcane Orb, the Wand of Woe gives a big buff to Explosive Blast, the Serpent Sparker buffs Hydra, and the Fragment of Destiny buffs your signature spells and Hydra. Now, in a normal season, if you got a good item, you would extract it into the cube after upgrading it since, well, we can't equip level 70 items, so you benefit from it by equipping it as a passive cube power. However, in Season 28, you will be able to equip level 70 items thanks to the second seal you'll unlock on the Altar of Rites. The Anointed Seal removes all level requirements from all items. Yep, that's right. And you can unlock this seal by level 18. So by level 18, you can be equipping your level 70 legendary item, plus you can craft yourself a set of rare level 70 gear to wear as well. At this point, you are instantly viable for destroying Torment 6 difficulty. Everything becomes trivial. You do the massacre leveling in your insane level 70 gear, you destroy everything, and you level up faster than ever. All you gotta do is get that second seal unlocked. So, now the question becomes, how do we unlock the first 2 seals as quickly as possible? Well, first off, here in town is where you find the Altar of Rites. It's Act 1, it's to the left, in this little nook over here. You open it up, and to unlock the first seal, all you need is 10 reusable parts. Our Challenge Rift bag gave us a few hundred of those. So, bam, you've unlocked the first seal at level 1 immediately. Now, to unlock the second seal, you need 20 reusable parts, 15 Arcane Dust, that's fine so far, and then 1 Flawless Diamond or greater. This is where we'll get slowed down. You see, gems only start dropping once you reach level 18. To specifically farm for gems as quickly as possible without relying on randomness and finding a gem goblin or a portal to Whimsydale, starting at level 18, you keep remaking your game until you see the Zoltan Kuhl or Magda boss bounty spawn. When you kill a boss in a boss bounty, a chest opens up, gems will fall out. And Magda and Zoltan Kuhl are fast and easy bounties to run with straightforward paths. So run these over and over until you get 2 diamonds. Then upgrade those 2 diamonds at the jeweler to get your Flawless Diamond. Then go to the altar and unlock your second seal. And then it's easy mode to level 70. You're not going to unlock anything else on the altar before you reach 70, just focus on getting those massacre bonuses and obliterating your way to 70. Now one question remains. How to get to level 18 as quickly as possible? Well, Rax found a strategy that is absolutely bonkers. It involves making a Necromancer. Even if you won't ultimately play a Necromancer. He's got a bunch of videos showcasing how fast this method is. You should check them out. And I really try to avoid recommending any strategies that involve needing to make a second character, but this is just too good. So, Rax's method, the season starts. You've done your Challenge Rift, then you create a Necro. You load into the game on Master difficulty. Unless you're playing hardcore, then you can do hard difficulty. You open your Challenge Rift cache, grab all the drops, then you grab your followers' items, equip the Templar's Javelin in your main hand, you go to the Act 1 vendor near the followers, buy the best weapon he offers, plus all the armor he's selling. Go to the blacksmith and salvage all the white items that you got. Then, while at the blacksmith, you'll craft a few items. This is because once you get going, you'll be going so fast that you will not stop to pick up items or fuss with gear. You're crafting in advance the items that you'll equip up to level 18. So, craft the level 5 blue axe, the level 10 blue dagger, the level 15 yellow two-handed sword, and the level 19 yellow two-handed sword. Then also craft the highest level blue armor piece for every gear slot that you're able to equip that is under level 11. Then go to the Altar of Rites and unlock your first seal. Then open your map and take the waypoint to the ruins of Sescheron in Act 3. We're going now for Kanai's Cube. This zone ends in a portal to the next zone, and that next zone will end at Kanai's Cube. So as you're making your way towards Kanai's Cube, try to get and maintain massacre bonuses. As soon as you level up and Corpse Explosion appears on your bar at level 4, you have unlocked easy mode. Corpse Explosion just does so much damage, and it's so fun. Whenever you reach level 5, open your inventory and quickly swap to the crafted axe. Try not to let your massacre bonus drop while you're doing this. Once you reach the second floor, then it's okay to let your kill streak drop. At this point, look at your skills, and if you're able to, put runes on them and take the Fueled by Death passive. As you continue to level your way to Kanai's Cube, equip your crafted gear whenever you can, and if you are not level 18 by the time you found Kanai's Cube, then go to the Temple of the Firstborn, as we discussed earlier as a great massacre bonus spot, and run that until you hit 18. Once you reach level 18, priority 1 becomes getting those gems. Drop the difficulty to normal, no need to make this harder on ourselves. We're not trying to get XP anymore. We're trying to get the gems from the boss bounties. Add Golem, Flesh Golem to your build, and then go after those bounties we discussed earlier. Once you reach the boss, use your Flesh Golem to create corpses near that boss, Corpse Explosion to insta-kill them. And that's it. Once you unlock the second seal, then you can make the character that you actually want to play. And then you continue with the regular steps. You're going to spend your blood shards on the character you actually want. You're going to craft your level 70 gear on the character you actually want. You might feel like, oh, it's wasted effort, now you're restarting that character level 1. It's not going to matter once you're equipped in level 70 gear. You're going to get back to 18 in an instant. The Necromancer just gets to level 18 so quickly and easily that it's faster to level a non-Necromancer to 18 by first making a Necromancer and using him to boost your non-Necro. Again though, if you don't believe me, you can check out Rax's videos for a full demonstration. I tried it myself as well. I am fully sold on this. He even has a handy Google Sheet with his step-by-step process. And that's going to wrap up this video. I did recently post a bunch of updated build guides for Season 28. If there's a build you're interested in that I have not made an updated guide for, go to Rhykker.com, see if it's there on my Diablo 3 build section. If it is, you can probably still follow that guide. If I have Season 28 in the description, it is applicable for Season 28 because nothing significant has changed for the build. And stay tuned for the tier list video on the best builds of Season 28, as well as a video on the Altar of Rites. Thanks for watching. Special thanks to my Twitch, Patreon, and YouTube supporters for making these videos possible. If you like what you see on this channel and want to support the creation of more content, you can consider pledging on YouTube or Patreon and unlocking behind-the-scenes content, monthly virtual hangouts, and more. If you enjoyed this video, please share it. Check out these other videos, and subscribe to join Rhykker's Raiders for more Diablo content.